I'd like to call the November 27th, 2023 City of Gardner Planning Commission meeting to order. Pledge of Allegiance is the first item. Stand, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Start with roll call. Start to my right.
Commissioner Combs present.
Commissioner Souza here.
Commissioner McNair here.
Commissioner Mader here.
Commissioner Juneman present.
Commissioner Cooper here.
We have a quorum. Okay. Consent agenda. All matters within the consent agenda have been distributed to each member of the Planning Commission for study. These items are considered to be routine and will be enacted upon by one motion with no separate discussion. If separate discussion is desired on an item, either from the Planning Commission or from the floor, that item may be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda. Are there any members of the Planning Commission that would like to have items removed from the consent agenda? Seeing none, can I get a motion to approve?
Second.
Motion by Juneman, second by Mader. Thank you. I was having a mental block.
I got
Sorry.
you. Just the holiday season.
It is the holiday season. Yes, it is. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same. The matter passes 6-0. Okay. Let's go on to the regular agenda. First agenda item this evening is project number 23-304-09. Project name Prairie Trace Revised. Staff, do we have a report?
Good evening, everybody. This is item one. It's an application for rezoning from RP1 to RP2, planned single family and two family district, to RP1 and RP2. Proposed element is a revision of the originally approved plan for 136.05 acre property located at the southwest intersection of Clare Road and 175th Street. The proposed development, again, is a revised development plan that is in essence moving several roads and lots, creating a plat for which has a total of 196 lots with, oh, that's wrong, sorry. And then also, as part of this application, you also have a preliminary plat as well. The property includes approximately 136 acres of land located along the south side of New Trails Parkway of the originally approved Prairie Trace development. This was originally annexed back in 2020. All utilities are available to the site. Rezoning of the site to the north and west is C3 Highway Commercial. To the southwest is R5 Multifamily, which is the Treadway Apartments. To the south is RUR County Rural Residential. And to the west is RUR, but we are also currently under review of a multifamily commercial development on that site. The originally approved preliminary development plan was made up of 136 acres and created two different types of single-family lots. The suburban type lot development, which consisted of roughly 94 acres and comprised of 194 lots. And then also the smaller neighborhood lots that consisted roughly of 42 acres and 162 lots. The rezoning and development plan was approved by the governing body back on April 20th of 2020. Original approved development includes several natural amenity areas and a clubhouse with a pool. I know this is kind of different. We normally don't have something getting rezoned from RP1 and RP2 to RP1 and RP2. This map that's up on the monitor right now shows the areas for consideration for the rezoning, preliminary development plan, preliminary plat. The red areas depict what is currently zoned RP2 and is being requested to rezone to RP1. And the areas in blue are currently RP1 are being requested to rezone to RP2. The overall impact of the original development is that the applicant is requesting to reduce the original approved plan from 356 lots to 353 lots. And that basically breaks down to 194 suburban lots to 160 lots, and from 162 neighborhood lots to 192 lots. Staff findings: the site is rural in nature and is the first urban development on this side of the interstate. The proposed zoning and potential uses are consistent with nearby properties. The rezoning will not detrimentally affect nearby properties. For the preliminary development plan, the plan reflects generally accepted and sound planning and urban design principles. Plan supports various goals and policies of the comprehensive plan. The project will benefit the general public, health, safety, and welfare of the community by preserving some of the stream corridors within the development and extending city utilities to the area for future development. We have a ton of deviations. All these deviations were approved from the original preliminary development plan. I can go through them again in detail, each and every one, but these are pretty much the same deviations that were approved from the preliminary, the originally approved preliminary development plan. Do you guys want me to go through them? And then finally, the staff findings on the preliminary plat. The application is generally consistent with the comprehensive plan. The plat is in compliance with the land development code, and the plat does not deter any existing or future developments on adjacent lots. Staff recommends approval of the application 23-304-09, a revised zoning and associated preliminary development plan and preliminary plat for Prairie Trace revised with the conditions in the recommended motion.
Does the applicant have a presentation?
Good evening. My name is Mark Brewer with Schlegel Associates, 14920 West 107th in Lenexa, representing Grata Development, the owner and master developer of the project. As Bob mentioned, this is just some adjustments to some of the RP2 and RP1 areas. It's kind of a reaction to market conditions, to what the developer is seeing out there. The neighborhood or meadows product has I guess been absorbed much faster than the estates product. So in reaction to what the market is requesting, we've kind of adjusted a few streets, added some more of the meadows or neighborhood product, and reduced some of the estates product, but still maintained those general areas, kept mainly the estate product still on the southern boundary next to the county or the rural area, and just kind of changed some of the internal configurations of those lots. And also in the southwest corner of the project added a detention basin that at the time of the original application was anticipated to be more lots, but with the way the Treadway project developed and the way the watersheds worked out, a detention basin was necessary there. So that was another one of the reasons for the overall reduction in lot count. But again, same product, same houses. I think I checked the developer's website before this meeting. The estate's product was, based on that website, between $400,000 and $625,000 is what finished homes are going for there. And the Meadows or neighborhood product was between $400,000 and $500,000. So still very, both those products still very high level, high-end product in the Gardner area. So, and again, as Bob mentioned, just to echo those, these are all the same stipulations that were requested 3 years ago. And so that's our understanding today, that they're the same stipulations. So with the developers in agreement with, again, with all those same stipulations. So happy to stand for any questions you guys might have. Thank you.
For the planning commission, are there any questions for staff or the applicant?
Not currently. Perhaps after.
Well, we get a chance to ask questions of the presentation before the hearing.
Okay.
Do you have any?
Well, maybe I could ask you to explain one more time, the purpose for the shift and change. And I'm not looking for any detail. I think I heard you answer, I just want to verify. But it had something to do with the storm drain or the storm sewage system? I'm sorry,
That
I
was-
may have misunderstood what you were saying.
That was one component. In the southwest corner, the detention basin was added, so that lost some lots.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else?
Well, I guess since we do have the applicant up, I'd like to ask questions during later, but that's fine. So with the RP2 designation, what is that actually gaining when it's all been RP1 and the Meadows product is selling just as the estate's product is selling? So they're all within the same R1 residential designation zoning currently. Why the push to an RP2 zoning? To me, that looks like spot zoning, and I don't feel that's a good planning practice. The areas in blue specifically. The one in blue. Go see, so that's all RP1, correct? That's how it is. That's what we did back in 2020. And then your spot zoning out these areas in blue, you're going to increase the intensity and density of the zoning when it's all RP1, and you're telling me that all the products are both selling well, at least the Meadows, because they're a little smaller lots, if I'm correct, and they work within the current RP1 zoning. Why the spot zoning to RP2?
It's not all RP1. There's actually Meadows product that's RP2 in this area. So we're adjacent to that RP2 Meadows product. We're expanding that area to, I guess, take up some additional density, because while we can put that smaller lot or the smaller home on the bigger lots, that's not an efficient use of the land to get
To a developer's perspective, that's correct. Price point.
right. I mean,
Planning Commission, we're guardians of the land, right? We're doing what looking at it with that critical eye of what's the best use of the land. We have nothing to do with monetary costs. That's why I'm just trying to understand. Just looking at this looks like I said, spot zoning. I'm just trying to understand why, when it was zoned R1 and things have been building out there, like you just said, the Meadows are selling, and the Meadows would be selling in the same. That's why I'm just trying to understand the reason for the increase.
yeah, it's a reduction in total number of lots.
By 3.
By 3. And so it's just to get more of the Meadows or neighborhood product out there.
To increase the intensity and density.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that's,
Okay. That was my question.
but it's our opinion, it's in the spirit of what is already out there. Where it's only about 8 acres that go from RP1 to RP2, and about an acre that goes from RP2 to RP1.
which I'm just struggling with that one too. I'm not.
So the blue is about
So,
8 acres and the
I don't
red-
understand how you can have little widgets in there that are RP2 out of what I believe. We could pull it up on Ames, like, and look at the zoning. I think it's all RP1.
I don't
That's,
know.
I'm struggling with the red, but I'm leaving the red alone. Yeah, look at there, are all RP1.
So we're kind of expanding. I'm not sure if that totally matches what the zoning legals are, but again, we're in that RP2 area and expanding that.
But within an RP1 area.
Correct.
But so the, what I don't want to see, and this is why I'm very cautious about agreeing to, first of all, spot zoning, because to me, that's what I see from my citizen eye. I'm not a professional, right? That's why we have planning commission. Spot zoning, first of all, and then second of all, if this happens to pass, then the next preliminary development plan that we see could be duplexes. And higher, you know what I mean, more dense and more intense uses, not just houses.
My understanding, and I'll let Bob jump in, but that would require a revised plan. So you guys would have, we couldn't just bring in duplexes without.
Right, but
and these
that's what I'm
lots
saying. This is the
are-
second time I've seen this. I was on the commission back in 2020 when this first came through. So here I go again. I'm seeing it again, and the lots are getting smaller, but it still fits within the R1 zoning. So why are we rezoning just pieces?
Just
That's
briefly,
my
to be
question.
clear, just for everyone's knowledge, if they want to change the structures that are on there from single family to duplexes, they have to come back and do it in a public hearing. So-
Right.
And I just want to caution you guys.
Whoa, I don't think it would be a public hearing, Spencer, because they'd already have the zoning
It
to
would be-
accommodate.
No, it would be a substantial change in their preliminary development plan, so they would probably have to do it in public. Either way, just because these are planned districts, we're just looking at what's in front of us because we're gonna hold them to the district they're asking for. If they wanna change it, they come back and do this again, so just, I don't want you guys going too far down rabbit holes of what if it.
Right,
This was
and
just
that's what
R2.
I'm trying not to.
Super valid points. It's RP2, so no one gets scared that they're gonna sneak in duplexes, or else
Correct.
Bob will go tear them down himself.
Question to staff, please. Bob, it's my understanding that about a year or so ago, when we changed the RP type planning, our zonings, that if anything changed from a platted or stated plan in any substantial way, then it had to come back to the very beginning of the process. Wasn't that the thought process between the RP1 and RP2?
Yes, that's.
So it would be, we'd have to go back to the beginning if we were gonna go to a duplex or something like that.
Yes, because in essence, the planned district is its own zoning.
Right.
So the plan is its specific zoning for that area.
Thank you.
I think I'm good with questions for the moment.
Okay. This is a public hearing item, and we're going to open the public hearing. We'll now open the public hearing. If anyone would like to comment on this item, please come forward, state your name, and address and address of the public record. Individuals are allowed 3 minutes, or an individual representing a group is allowed 7 minutes. Anybody want to address the public? Saying no, are there any others wishing to speak? If not, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
I have a question I haven't had an opportunity to ask yet. Yeah, we will, okay.
I'll make that motion to close the public hearing.
Motion by Mayor, second by Sosa. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 6-0. Okay. Planning Commission discussion. This is planning commission discussion. Anyone, does anybody on the commission have comments or questions? We'll start to my right with Commissioner Wright. Okay.
Well, this may be a very silly question, but why not just leave it
Can I ask my question now, please?
She.
Okay, there's estates. How many lots were originally in the estate plan? I'm asking either Bob or the gentleman who came up and made the presentation.
194, Bob, is what I. So 194 estate lots are suburban and 162 meadows or neighborhood lots.
That was in the original plan?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me those numbers again?
194 and 162.
And you're changing those to what density now?
160 of the suburban and 193 of the neighborhood.
That's all I had. Thank you for clarifying.
Still, help me understand the real driver behind it.
Yeah, I think based on the applicant's engineer when he was up talking, it really has to do with probably the market, probably seeing more of the neighborhood type lots that are selling out there as opposed to the estate lots. When you're developing this large of an acreage area, nobody has a crystal ball, and when they start developing a site such as this with this much acreage, a lot of times as they start going down the road, there might be a time where the market says, "Hey, the larger lots aren't selling, but the smaller lots are." Now, also to talk about the retention basin, the stormwater management plan. They've started tweaking that with the Public Works Department and came up with that they needed to have more retention. I think that's what the applicant's engineer was talking about on this very southwest corner or side of this. The originally approved development plan had some extremely long lots at that very corner, so they're not really taking anything away from that southern side. And again, when we talk about density, they are decreasing. It's extremely minor when you talk about the total count. But you're talking about the total acreage, and they're reducing the amount of lots by 3 lots. So that is actually decreasing the density of the development.
Thank you. I understand the purpose behind it, specifically related to the stormwater and the changes that were made. I don't know that I have any different questions other than still, okay, reduction, the market makes sense, but with the rezoning, I sort of echo the comment of spot zoning. So I just question why it needs to change.
Sure, so, and just, I want you guys to remember, so as we're looking at rezonings, we have Supreme Court decisions on what you are and are not looking at. So the review criteria is in your staff report, so I'd make sure we're looking at that and walking through those 10 factors that staff put in there for you, so you don't have to jump online and look at them. The why, and I understand, valid questions, and you guys can ask questions. The why is not really a factor in the rezoning. You know, they could say RP1 because they're really into numerology and they hate the numbers, and that really wouldn't affect too much. Now you could ask some follow-up questions based on that, hopefully, but that would be that. So, yeah, as far as the spot zoning, moving from RP1 to 2 and 2 to 1 within this type of area is not really this type of spot zoning we're concerned about. Spot zoning would be if you came in and said, I'd love to have a C2 right in the middle of this RP1, or we'd love to have some heavy industrial in the middle of this RP2. That would be a blaring red flag of spot zoning. We don't want that here. So this type of smooth kind of transitioning back and forth between single and duplexes, yeah, not what spot zoning is really, what you guys should be trying to try to prevent as much. And it's really that, within residential uses, we're a little safe.
The other thing, if I could add to that, the whole area, the western portion that isn't developed yet, is being rezoned. The portion you see in blue and red, that's just the section that is changing between the two. So the end result would be that northern section, there would be more of the RP2 and less of the RP1. So what it looks like with the small red sliver there, that is adjacent to existing RP1, and so it will be contiguous in effect. You won't have these tiny portions. That's just kind of what the change will be.
So if I understand what you're saying correctly, forgive me if I wasn't tracking, all the land on the kind of northeast blue area, the lots around that are all RP2 as well, is that correct? The adjoining lots that are perimeter and green?
For the blue section in the middle,
Yeah.
on the meadows lots make a arch shape around it.
Yeah.
They're adding, that blue section is changing from the RP1 to the RP2. So those are the estates lots that are being switched over to the meadows.
So that was my question. So the meadows lots in the blue section towards the upper blue section are going to become meadows lots, just like that blue section is going to become the same type of lots as further to the north of them in the division of the green. So it's more of a situation of all the lots being contiguously the same and not separate and not spotted out and separated. Is that correct?
Yes.
So this is really more just trying to make it more consistent? Would that be safe to assume?
We're gonna try to pull
Yeah,
up what
pull
it-
that up, because I believe in 2020, when this was rezoned, it was rezoned to R1.
Yeah, so this is,
Fully.
here's the 2020 that you're looking at. So
Uh-huh.
in the very middle of those developments, that's that big blue chunk you're seeing where it's going 1 to 2. And it's surrounded on essentially the north side, the
Yeah, I mean.
upside
I
down
gotta-
U,
I
yeah,
gotta-
is the RP2 that's already around it. So it's
Yeah,
being
yeah, yeah,
rezoned to match what's around
I
it.
see what you're getting at. Yeah. But I guess, I don't remember ever having any piece parts zoned differently, and I don't think they are.
This
I
is,
mean-
this is from the 2020 report.
Why, that's why I brought my laptop, because I went back and looked at the minutes, and like I said, I can go pull them up, and because that was my other question too. With the 2020 meeting, there were like, not only that, you're correct, the deviations were all the same, the 13 deviations, but there was additional stipulations put into the motion, I think like 19 or 20, stating that all of these updates needed to be made to the documents, and I didn't see any of those within the recommended motion.
It is all of these deviations that are requested.
Right, yeah, Spencer, the deviations were all the same,
Yeah.
but there was additional stipulations like label, like I said, I can go pull, I grabbed my laptop out really fast. Label, tracks, blah, and blah, and blahs, detention basins, show on the drawing, the easements correctly, show that, one of the sticking ones, the asphalt trail needs to be concrete, just some technical details, I'd say, that I didn't see this time around.
So they did resubmit new plans.
Mm-hmm.
So
And I guess that's my question then to staff. So all of those stipulations from 2020 were met then within the documentation?
they should have been before the finals would have been approved.
Well, this is just with preliminary.
Right, but we have had sections of that have been developed to the east, and before the final could be approved, all the conditions of approval for the preliminary should have been met at that point.
Okay.
I haven't specifically gone back to see if, all those changes were made
Yeah, because there were conditions just on the preliminary, back in 2020. I remember there was just administrative things to be added on the preliminary, and I'm still just stuck on the rezoning thing.
So, yeah,
I'll just be honest.
Yeah, we're looking at the conditions. Most of these conditions are updates to the deviations. Provide an agreement that Evergy's looked at the plan.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But it's
all
all
that stuff.
update the deviation outline or these, yeah, so.
Yeah, did all the, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I want to make sure that that's cared for as well, because that was in the staff report back in 2020. And there was some really good things like providing templates showing the biggest fire truck that number one's got out at New Century, showing a template that it could in fact make some of these look tight turns. That was one deviation that really stands out the top of my head as being important. Or not a deviation, I'm sorry, a stipulation.
Are any of the streets, Mark, are any of the streets changing? Yeah.
So the fire department actually had comments on this plat resubmittal, and that's one of the reasons for the rezoning. Some of those red slivers is they requested yet again a larger radius than what was approved in 2020. So the fire department has reviewed this plan and approved the layout as submitted.
So in essence, then the red slivers that are being requested to go from RP2 to RP1 are due to the fire folks.
Cul-de-sacs
you know,
got bigger.
Okay,
So we had to
okay,
push some of
that's
that around,
great,
and
that's
then some of
good,
those lots
okay.
grew.
That helps to understand why, because I saw
Yeah.
this little red piece on there, I'm like, what is
Yeah, that's goofy,
weird.
but I agree.
Okay, good to know. Okay.
And Adriana, just to let you know, most all these deviations, not just on this one, but on any of the plans, when the finals do come in, we are double checking that to make sure that those are corrected if they need be. And then before we ever release the plats for recording, we're double checking to make sure that all the conditions of approval have been met, or else we don't release that plat.
Right, and the last time in 2020, they were specifically called out in the motion that, the deviations were accepted according to the staff report, and there were additional ones on there to make sure that everything got checked and that nothing was missed. So that's why I just had questions as to why I didn't see as many of those this time. I don't want anything to get missed either, and if it's on the record by a proceeding, that's why I feel like it'll get checked, because we're in the meeting.
I had a question for the developer.
Hey, thank you for that. That's good to know about the fire thing. Thank you. I appreciate that answer.
Yeah, first, this graphic that we have up on the screen right now has been exceptionally helpful for me. When you look at the previous layout versus where you're going now, this looks like to me that it's just making things even a little more consistent, if you would, in the areas where the whole eastern half of the development is going to be meadows type lots, and the estate lots will be on the other side of the main development as well. And it looks like it, to me, looking at this from a career as a marketeer, this looks like it makes a whole lot of sense. It's just allowing to have a more consistent size of lot that the marketplace is wanting to.
Right.
This is driven by market requests, is that correct?
Exactly, and so basically you're gonna have the meadows or neighborhood product all along New Trails Parkway. And then as you go south, about halfway through, it'll switch to more estates or suburban lots. And so really, we're just changing a couple of cul-de-sacs around at this point, just to make those transitions a little smoother and again, to react to market conditions.
Sure.
I mean, we could have a whole bunch of suburban lots that won't sell.
And then we got a bigger problem.
Or move in this direction and hopefully react to the market, is what the developers intend.
I guess my question would be, I can see where if the bigger lots were there and the marketplace didn't accept them, and then we have a problem then, and then we're coming back and we got a bigger problem down the road, is that correct?
Yeah. and again, like Bob mentioned, nobody had a crystal ball 2 years ago. We had.
Well, I mean, that
had
was
the best-
2020, and this is 2023,
A
and
little
there's
couple
a
things
whole
that-
bunch of things have changed in the world since then. Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? Go ahead.
One of the deviations talked about the sidewalks, not having sidewalks on both sides on every street, but there wasn't any plans that showed necessarily where those were gonna. Can you describe, is it like all the streets only have one sidewalk or something, or is it like the main thoroughfares will have two sidewalks on each side?
Yeah, with
Like that?
with the original application, there was a pedestrian plan that was submitted, and we're following that pedestrian plan, would be our intent. So I have a print off of that. I don't know if, Bob, if you have the original 6-page preliminary plat, but I guess it'd be our intent to match that. And we're fine with adding that as a stipulation that the 2020 pedestrian access plan is a condition of the approval.
Okay. Yeah, I missed that on the previous submittal, so I didn't do my homework there. But I know staff has looked at it, and they've mentioned they approved it and everything, so.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask and make sure I didn't miss that.
And
And then I just want to act I think, I support this change. I think it's a more efficient use of space in the area, especially being so close to the highway. I think it makes sense to have some smaller, single-family homes in that area. And, yeah, I just want to voice support for the change.
Commissioner Cooper,
No questions?
Commissioner Mader, did you have anyone?
No, I'm good, thank you.
No questions?
Okay, anybody else? Entertain a motion.
I can make that motion. After review of application 23-304-09, rezoning and associated preliminary development plan and preliminary plat for Prairie Trace revised and staff report dated November 20, 2023. The Planning Commission recommends the governing body approve the applications as proposed, provided the following conditions are met, items 1 through 4. And I will also add an item number 5, that the original pedestrian map submitted with the 2020 preliminary development plan be carried over as stipulation number 5.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any planning commission discussion?
Yes, the sidewalk plan, it's not something that's going to get recorded in the plat, right? It's just, or is it just a visual aid for the planning commission, I guess?
With that motion, it'll be part of the development plan.
I haven't seen it, I guess.
So then, once it's part of the development plan, essentially, they could add sidewalks without needing to come back. That would be a positive change, but if they wanted to take them away, it might trigger some additional staff review. Wonder what that would be.
Sounds good to me.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Go to item 2. Regular agenda item 2, Prairie Trace, third plat, 23-302-08. Staff presentation, please.
Good evening. So this is item 2 for the third phase of the Prairie Trace Meadows plat. This is in the revised section that you just heard. This portion is on the north end of that. So it is meadows, so these are the neighborhood type lots according to the code, and so they have the 50-foot lot width. The actual layout of this plat is the same as the originally approved preliminary development plan. The lots haven't changed. As I mentioned, this is the north section. So with the recommendation you just made, this will be on the east, most of the south and west, it'll be meadows around this. The final development plan and plat are in compliance with that revised preliminary development plan. It's consistent with the comprehensive plan. It is within 1 mile of New Century Air Center, so it will have to have county review. And one thing that Public Works did mention still needed to be submitted was a stormwater maintenance agreement for some of the open areas. And so that's the condition number 4, I believe, in the recommended motion. Staff recommends approval of the application, which is for the final development plan and final plat for the 3rd phase of Prairie Trace Meadows with the conditions in the recommended motion.
Thank you.
Sorry, condition 3 is the one, or no. Condition 1 is the one Public Works needed for that, just to cover all the stormwater requirements.
Does the applicant have a presentation?
Again, Mark Brewer, Schlegel Associates, 14920 West 107th on Lenexa. Just ready to move forward with this as for all the reasons we pointed out of the last item. The developer Grotto is ready to move forward with this next phase of the Meadows. Stand for any questions you guys might have. Thank you.
Planning Commission, are there any questions or start down here on the end? All right.
No questions.
Wasn't this normally we put these on consent agenda, right? Final approvals?
So we have been putting the final plat on consent, but because you needed to hear the revised preliminary and because this had the final development plan, we broke it out as a separate motion that you would hear.
Commissioner Cooper? I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion. After review of application 23-302-08, final development plan and final plat for Prairie Trace Meadows, 3rd plat, and staff report dated November 20th, 2023, Planning Commission approves the applications as proposed and recommends the governing body accept dedication of right-of-way and easements, provided the following conditions are met. Items 1 through 3 in the staff report.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Jitteman and a second by Commissioner Maida. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Next item, item 3. This is a planning. This is a set up the bylaws and the schedules for next year in 2024. Do you have anything, staff?
I'm sure it's a big presentation.
Yeah.
We
Lots of
actually do not have a
PowerPoints.
presentation prepared for this one.
Do you have a recommendation?
Yeah, I'll take it. Your calendar outline is here in your packet. If you guys like it, you can approve it.
Do I hear a motion to approve?
I can make, yeah,
So
who makes
moved.
that? Give Pedersen a chance.
How about Commissioner
Yeah.
Souza? Did you
Who's
wanna be the
Souza?
first one to
You
do
go.
that?
He did.
He did.
Just say that we accept the.
Oh, we accept the agenda for
Yeah.
2024?
Yeah.
Yep. All in
Second.
favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 6-0. I don't think we have anything else. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Oh, wait, staff might have something.
I'm just trying to get out of here.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I know, I'm with you. I'm with you on that, Steve. I'm only
We
getting.
were on this like.
I know.
So we have a few updates. This is Chairperson McNear's final PC meeting, as he will be sworn into the City Council member on December 4th, which is next Monday. So Vice Chair Ham will be the interim PC chair until our next election in May. At the meeting, next PC, which is December 19th, you will elect an interim vice chair to serve in that capacity until, again, the next election, which is in May of 2024. meeting, of course, December 19th, was moved to avoid conflicting with Christmas. Just to remind everybody, we'll have a PC meeting on the 19th at 7 p.m. That's all I have.
Is there anything else?
There is not.
With no additional, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn now.
So moved.
Second.
Enter. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?